Christmas is upon us. That's right. It's once again that time of year filled with joy, happiness, giving, and countless traditions. But unlike Halloween, where gamers traditionally love to dust off their best horror games to put them in the spooky Halloween spirit, there doesn't seem to be a similar tradition for gamers at Christmas. So we thought we might try and change that and give you all some inspiration for games set at Christmas that you can play to get you in the Christmas spirit. This is the 10 best games set at Christmas. Number 10. Would you be surprised to hear that the Yakuza series is one of the most Christmassy game series ever made? Well, maybe that's a bit strong of a statement, but a surprisingly large amount of Yakuza games do take place at Christmas time. Games like Yakuza 2, Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, and Yakuza Kiwami 2 all take place during the holiday period and have nods to Christmas throughout. Whether it be visuals and sounds, or how Yakuza 2 plays Silent Night during its end credits, or even some of the Christmas-themed missions you get in games like Yakuza Kiwami and Kiwami 2. But there's only one Yakuza game worthy of this spot on our list, and that's Yakuza 5. In this game, which, like the others, is set at Christmas, there's a sub-story where, upon stumbling upon a man dressed as Santa who has been beaten up, you discover there's a gang of thugs going around attacking anyone dressed as Santa. So you put on a Santa costume and go in search of these Santa-hating thugs. Although it's only a small part in a game, it is a fun and amusing sub-story. And the idea that even ruthless gangsters don't tolerate violence against Santa does give me a good laugh. So while you may never think it to be, the Yakuza series is most definitely a bona fide Christmas series and worthy of a play this holiday season. Number 9. Christmas and the colour red go hand in hand, and what's more red than blood? That's why in our 9th spot is Duke Nukem Nuclear Winter. Released in 1997, this Christmas-themed expansion pack for the legendary Duke Nukem 3D sees you playing once again as the titular sunglasses-wearing Macho Man. Taking place 1 year after the events of Duke Nukem 3D, in this expansion, Santa has been captured and brainwashed by aliens from Duke's past adventures. So now Duke is on a mission to go to the North Pole, defeat the aliens, and save Christmas. The whole game has received a Christmassy coat of paint, with several classic Duke Nukem enemy types having been redesigned with Christmas-themed costumes, along with the addition of some new Christmas-themed enemy types exclusive to this expansion, including Duke Nukem lookalikes dressed as Santa. The Duke Nukem series is no stranger to controversy, and this game is no exception, with some parts of this game having aged quite poorly. However, for those looking for a nostalgic bit of classic gaming this Christmas, Duke Nukem Nuclear Winter might be just what you're looking for. Number 8. If you aren't quite ready to pack up the horror games from Halloween just yet, but still want to get into the Christmas spirit, then our next game might be just what you're looking for. In our 8th spot is Alone in the Dark 2 and Jak in the Dark. Many consider the first Alone in the Dark game to be the game that invented survival horror. This probably doesn't sound like the makings of a Christmas game. However, Alone in the Dark 2 and especially Jak in the Dark are definitely Christmas games. Alone in the Dark 2 takes place during Christmas 1924 and has you once again playing as Edward Carnby, who is tasked with investigating the kidnapping of a young girl named Grace Saunders, with all the clues leading to an old mansion. Jak in the Dark, on the other hand, is a small side game released at Christmas to promote Alone in the Dark 2, and has you playing exclusively as Grace Saunders from that game. In Jak in the Dark, Grace must solve a series of puzzles to save Santa from a toy store full of evil toys that have come to life. While the games do still have the occasional scare here and there, especially Alone in the Dark 2, they're definitely not as scary as they were when they first came out. However, this is probably one of the few times that is a good thing, as it makes it an even better choice for something to play at Christmas time. Number 7. Since Christmas is a time spent with others, if you're after something Christmassy to play with other people, look no further than our 7th spot, Tom Clancy's The Division. The game is set in a New York City where, after a virus breaks out on Black Friday, the city has become a lawless disaster zone. A while after the breakout, sometime around the Christmas period, you play as a member of an elite special ops force called The Division, who is tasked with returning order to the city. Even though obviously no one is celebrating Christmas in the game, the city is still adorned in decorations as it is essentially frozen in time to the moment of the breakout. So while walking through the city attempting to restore law and order, you will find yourself surrounded by Christmas lights and decorations. This gives the game this sort of eerie juxtaposition which is great for immersion and atmosphere. Even in the trailer, Ubisoft again gives us that eerie juxtaposition. The trailer begins with a child singing Silent Night in a cheerful and festive New York. That all slowly fades away to reveal a hellish war zone. While the game is certainly not one that will deliver a lot of Christmas cheer in the traditional sense, the fact it is a multiplayer co-op does make it a great game to play with others this Christmas.
Number 6.
However, if you are in need of something more wholesome, our next game may be just what you're looking for. In our 6th spot is Animal Crossing New Horizons. While none of the Animal Crossing games are specifically set at Christmas, since the game depends on seasonal changes, Animal Crossing New Horizons is constantly updated throughout the year, which means they also get updated during major holidays. There's Easter, which is called Bunny Day, Earth Day, which is called Nature Day, Thanksgiving, which is called Turkey Day, and most importantly for us, Christmas, which is called Toy Day. With each update, the island changes in look, decorated for the occasion, and there are fun items you can use throughout the holiday. Which means if you fire up your Nintendo Switch and boot up Animal Crossing New Horizons during December, you'll see your island right in the middle of Toy Day preparations. At the local Nook's Cranny store, toys are being sold, and Toy Day themed clothing is being sold at the Able Sisters clothing shop. And if you fire up Animal Crossing New Horizons on Toy Day, on top of some of the villagers now wearing cute little Santa hats, you'll get a visit from the Animal Crossing version of Santa, a reindeer named Jingle, who will get you to take part in gift wrapping and gift-giving activities for your village. Compared to the violent Christmas games we've seen so far and will continue to see on this list, Animal Crossing New Horizons provides a more wholesome holiday gaming experience that is suitable for all ages. With just the right mix of heartwarming festive atmosphere and innocent Yuletide delight, it's the ideal choice for players seeking a more cozy and joyous Christmas gaming experience.
Number 5.
At this time of year, we're all hoping for a visit from the Jolly Man in Red. However, if that man in red happens to be bald and has a barcode tattoo on the back of his head, then we suggest you run for your life. Because in our 5th spot are 2 missions from 2 different Hitman games. One from Hitman 2016 and another from Hitman Blood Money. The first mission, called Holiday Hoarders, was originally released as a fundraiser for the World Cancer Research Fund on the Hitman 2016 game, and gives you a reimagined Christmas version of the Paris map from that game. However, while the original map had you eliminating 2 fashion moguls, in this version of the Paris map, you are now tasked with eliminating 2 thieves who are planning to steal Christmas presents from the mansion. And while that alone is already Christmassy enough for a spot on this list, the Christmas nods get even better when you find out the thieves are named Harry and Marv. That's right, just like Harry and Marv from Home Alone. In other words, this Hitman mission is basically a bloodier version of the first Home Alone film. But the Hitman Christmas shenanigans don't stop there, because in the 2006 classic, Hitman Blood Money, we get another Christmas mission, this time called You Better Watch Out. In this mission, you are now tasked with infiltrating a raunchy VIP Christmas party and eliminating a Hugh Hefner-type character called Lorne de Havilland, as well as the son of a US senator. While Holiday Hoarders was a far more jovial and light-hearted mission, as jovial and light-hearted as being a cold-blooded assassin can be, You Better Watch Out is definitely a more adult mission, so it's best played when the children aren't around, especially so they don't see you assassinating Santa.
Number 4.
Christmas shopping can be frustrating at times, and if this year's Christmas shopping has you feeling like a mindless zombie, then you'll probably love our next game. In our 4th place, quite ironically, is Dead Rising 4. Although, among fans of the Dead Rising series, this game is understandably quite divisive. As a Christmas game, we think Dead Rising 4 is a real gem. This 2016 game sees the series' main protagonist, Frank West, return after being absent from the 3rd game, and back in the same mall where the deadly zombie outbreak from the original Dead Rising game happened. But since this is a Dead Rising game, the mall has once again fallen under another zombie outbreak, and Frank is forced to fight his way to survival. All Dead Rising games allow you to use unconventional items as weapons, and Dead Rising 4 has put a wonderful Christmas spin on that, allowing you to use everything from a candy cane and Christmas crackers to a Christmas wreath taser and an explosive Santa. There's even a 6-barrel gun that fires Christmas baubles. So there's no shortage of wacky Christmassy violence to be had. But along with the mindless fun, Dead Rising 4 does try and use the Christmas theme to make some commentary on the parallels between the mindless consumerism at Christmas and the mindless behaviour of zombies in a shopping mall. It's a concept we've seen done before and done better, but if you are someone who likes your Christmas zombie violence with a side of social commentary, it's definitely there. As we said at the beginning, this game is divisive among Dead Rising fans due to its many changes to the classic formula. However, if you're able to look at it, not as a Dead Rising game, but instead as a silly fun Christmas game, we think you'll undoubtedly have a lot of fun.
Number 3.
There's very few things more Christmassy than throwing a thug off a building and into a Christmas tree, and that's why our third spot goes to Batman Arkham Origins. Released in 2013, this black sheep of the Arkham games family takes place over Christmas Eve and Christmas, and it definitely makes the festive season be felt. Even though it uses the same map as Arkham City, and therefore has the same grimy underworld feeling as that game, the Christmas lights and decorations sprinkled throughout the city do manage to give this Gotham a different vibe as you glide around. The presence of Christmas decorations also help to make this Gotham City, which is almost completely free of non-criminal Gotham citizens, still feel like a real and lived-in city. Also, for any fans of Michael Keaton's Batman, the Christmas aesthetic does make the game feel like Batman Returns, which was also set at Christmas. Or if you're a fan of the comics, the festive aesthetic might give you Batman, the long Halloween vibes. Beyond the aesthetic, reminders that it's Christmas are never too far away, whether it be thugs wearing the Santa hats, or a moment where a gunrunner for Penguin asks other thugs what they want for Christmas, before being interrogated by Batman and dropped into a Christmas tree.
So, little boys, what do you want for Christmas? Oh wait, I already know.
However, my favourite Christmas moment from the game has to be when the clock strikes midnight on Christmas Eve, and Alfred wishes Batman a Merry Christmas over the communicator, and Batman simply says "you too" before continuing with the mission.
It's midnight, sir. I just wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas.
You too.
It gives that very Batman vibe of crime doesn't take a holiday, so neither do I. And that's what the game does so well. While never shying away from the Christmas theme and even going hard with it at points, it always feels like a Batman game first and foremost. It manages to perfectly balance its Christmas themes without ever letting them overshadow the game's identity, which would risk it feeling more like a holiday-themed spin-off rather than a true installment in the Arkham series. In other words, it gives plenty of Christmassy moments to enjoy this December, while still being one of the best Batman games ever made. The perfect game for any Dark Knight fan this Christmas.
Number 2.
But The Dark Knight isn't the only superhero tackling Christmas, because in our number 2 spot is Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. You may be wondering what Spider-Man Miles Morales does to earn it the spot above Arkham Origins. I'll be honest with you, these two games did swap rankings multiple times during the writing of this video. So why did Spider-Man win out in the end? Well, in this fantastic 2020 spin-off to the equally fantastic Marvel's Spider-Man from 2018, Miles Morales is now donning the iconic mask and web shooters. And it's through Miles that we get to experience 3 different sides of Christmas. What do I mean by that? Well, one of the great things about the character of Spider-Man is what an important role his human identity still plays in his life, especially when compared to someone like Batman, where Bruce Wayne is nothing more than a human mask he wears. Spider-Man, on the other hand, has always been great for its ability to balance the duty and thrill of being a superhero with the relatable everyday life moments that we can all understand and connect with. And Spider-Man Miles Morales brings that to Christmas. So while one minute you are getting to experience the thrill of web-slinging through the snowy streets of New York, or wrangling Rhino through a tinsel-covered mall, trying to avoid Christmas shoppers, trees and displays, The next minute you are gathered around the table with friends and family sharing jokes and stories. But then, we need to add on to that the fact this is Miles' first Christmas without his dad. And so through that, you also get to experience the sometimes sad side of Christmas.
Glad Dad's tree survived the move.
Me too. He loved that little guy.
Ain't no Christmas like a Brooklyn Christmas. Miss hearing him say that. I'm gonna make you proud, Dad.
In other words, Spider-Man Miles Morales gives you a look at every Christmas experience there is. You have the fantastical Christmas you can only ever experience in a video game. You have the sweet and happy moments we all associate with Christmas. And the game also doesn't shy away from showing us the sad moments that can unfortunately accompany Christmas time for some people. And it presents all these elements within a visually stunning, meticulously crafted, and impeccably executed package, making it the perfect superhero game to play at Christmas.
Number 1.
The last 2 years haven't been great years for the Saints Row series, with 2022 being the year the Saints Row reboot released to a less than stellar critical response and sales, and 2023 being the year that the repercussions of that resulted in the game's developer, Volition, being shut down. But to end the year, let's go back to and celebrate more positive times in the Saints Row legacy, because in our number 1 spot is Saints Row 4, How the Saints Saved Christmas. In this DLC to the 2013 game Saints Row 4, Santa has been trapped inside a simulation created by aliens, and you're the only one who can save him. The problem is, you struggle to muster enough Christmas spirit to do so, so it is up to the rest of the 3rd Street Saints to teach you the true meaning of Christmas so you can save Santa.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. All right, I'll save Santa.
Yep, it really is as silly as it sounds, and that's why it earns the top spot. Because just like a Christmas sweater, it's so ridiculous and so Christmassy that it can't help but put a smile on your face. This game is so unapologetically Christmassy, but in the way only a Saints Row game can be.
Oh, look, another terrible sweater. Thanks, Kenzie.
In Santa's nightmare world, the holiday spirit doesn't exist. So if you want to bring it back, you wear whatever it takes.
The game is constantly poking fun at countless Christmas tropes, and it also parodies many Christmas stories throughout, including Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, A Christmas Story, and Miracle on 34th Street. But don't worry, it's still a Saints Row game in every way, filled with all the violence, carnage, and mayhem you could ever want. I challenge anyone to not have a great time playing this game during Christmas time. There's no other game on this list that even comes close to putting you in the Christmas spirit like How the Saints Saved Christmas does. It's silly, it's wild, it's full of laughs and chaos, a few fights, and some sweet moments as well. In other words, it perfectly embodies Christmas. And that's why it is our choice for the best game set at Christmas. And there you have it, the top 10 best games set at Christmas. Do you plan to play any of these games this Christmas? Or perhaps you have another game you love to play at Christmas? If so, let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for even more videos just like this one. Oh, and Merry Christmas.